All signs point to this. The Ravens have a question mark at center, and the Texans have a former Notre Dame captain fighting through a crowded offensive line room. If Eric DeCosta has built his reputation on finding value before everybody else does, Jarrett Patterson is starting to look like one of the most realistic trade targets Baltimore has left on the table this offseason. And today we're going to break down who Jarrett Patterson is, what made him one of the college football's greatest centers this upcoming season, and what he has shown already in the NFL, along with why this move would make so much sense for the Baltimore Ravens going into the 2026-2027 season. But before we get into today's video, you guys are going to want to make sure to subscribe to Ravens Digest. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It is completely free, and we're providing Ravens videos and updates every single day. You guys are not going to want to miss on the content that we are providing you guys at all on a daily basis. Now, going into 2026-2027, the Baltimore Ravens' need for a center is a mandatory need going into this year. With us looking to contend for a championship this upcoming season, the Baltimore Ravens will need a competent center in the line room because of the loss of Tyler Linderbaum, as we have discussed in previous videos. Now, I believe Jarrett Patterson for the Houston Texans would be a perfect replacement for Tyler Linderbaum, and here is why. Dating back to his years in high school, Jarrett Patterson was looking like one of the best prospects and underrated prospects coming out of Mission Viejo, California. He attended Mission Viejo, which was one of California's top programs, and he was also a 3-star prospect and not consideredly valued as a blue chip prospect. He chose to go to Notre Dame over offers from ASU, Oregon State, UCLA, and many others, and he had to earn everything from the moment he arrived as a freshman in South Bend. Now, coaches immediately praised his work ethic, his leadership, and his football IQ on a day-to-day basis, and he became one of the smartest football players on Notre Dame's entire roster during his collegiate years. Before he was an NFL player, he was someone that his teammates had trusted to lead the organization, and as Notre Dame is one of the most premier programs in college football, Notre Dame didn't just develop Jarrett Patterson as a whole, they turned him into one of the best center prospects going into the 2022-2023 NFL Draft. Now, during his days at Notre Dame, he started in 39 career games as a center and a left guard, and his versatility immediately saw himself as an NFL talented prospect. He was named team captain at Notre Dame and had first-team All-ACC honors, as well as being a finalist for the Remington Trophy, which goes to the nation's top center in college football. He also helped Notre Dame that year to reach the CFP for the first time, and if you know Notre Dame's roster at the time, they had a dynamic duo of now NFL star Kyren Williams and a very talented quarterback at the time of Ian Book, and they were producing high-caliber seasons while he was on the offensive line blocking for them. Now, one of their biggest wins going into Notre Dame's season that year was an upset win over Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, where the offensive line had pretty much controlled that defensive front for all 4 phases of the game. And Patterson was a player who won at the point of attack every single play and handled Clemson's defensive pressures on a day basis. If you turn on the tape from that specific game, you can see the way that he can climb linebackers and finish through the whistle, and he was directing and telling people pass protections throughout the snap to communicate this with his team, which led with him being one of the most promising prospects coming out of Notre Dame that year and in college football as a whole. Now, if you take a look at what PFF had him as one of the highest graded Power 5 non-quarterbacks in college football this year, as you can see at number 1, it was notable tight end Kyle Pitts, the now Atlanta Falcon, but at number 4, Jarrett Patterson out of Notre Dame with a 91.4 rating, one of the highest grades from a non-quarterback seen during that entire football season. Now, why did the Houston Texans go out and draft a caliber player such as this? Now, the Houston Texans had selected him in the 6th round, and Jarrett Patterson was a player that teams weren't purely drafting due to elite athletic traits. They drafted him due to his intelligence, his leadership at Notre Dame, the toughness and the versatility that he plays with, along with winning the technique and not just using his build for purely strength. He can play multiple different positions, as we talked about, as he played guard and center for Notre Dame, and he's pretty comfortable in changing pass protection calls from the quarterback, and this is exactly why coaches had trusted him throughout his entire career at Notre Dame, and why he had been a 6th-round selection going into the NFL draft in 2023. Now, once he got to Houston, he continued proving that he belonged in the league on a game-to-game basis. Jarrett Patterson was a very effective player in his early years as he entered a Texans rebuild organization and had to earn playing time instead of it purely being handed to him. He has started in NFL games and has experience, as we talked about, at both center and guard, but he was protecting C.J. Stroud in his earlier years and faced some of the AFC's best defensive interiors in the entire league. He has continued to improve against NFL speed and blitz packages, and Houston values his versatility as a player, but going into this upcoming season, their depth looked like a major question for Patterson to realistically be a part of this offensive line. Due to them investing heavily in their offensive line, competition has become very, very tough for Patterson, and this brings us to why Baltimore would make sense in terms of being a team that can go and pursue this player. Now, going into 2026-2027, why does the Baltimore Ravens make sense? As we know, the Baltimore Ravens and the center position is one of the biggest questions on the entire roster, and the current room is built around competition and not just a purely locked-in starter, as we talked about in previous videos with other pieces that we could see playing the center role. He has already played meaningful NFL snaps in the playoffs, and if he wins the competition, great. But if he doesn't, now Baltimore has one of the best backup offensive linemen in football, and he can contribute and grow throughout his career as a Baltimore Raven compared to sitting behind the depth of the Houston Texans offensive line room. Competition improves everyone, and good creams can create depth by injuries not happening, not after. And when you look at how he plays, you can see that he fits in Baltimore's system really well due to his size and the way that he moves on the football. Now, going into 2026-27, he is a very physical player, as we know, in the run game, but also talking about his leverage as a player, he is a player who plays through the whistle constantly and can communicate with his quarterback and other offensive line members in pre-snap and protection adjustments. He can play multiple positions, as we talked about, and coaches just love interior linemen who can make everybody around them better. In the Clemson game, as we talked about in college, it was one of the highest trajectory games, as that upset was one of the biggest in college football that season. And it seems as if he can bring that same level of high intensity and leadership going into the 2026-2027 season, I see no reason why the Baltimore Ravens should not have a trade for Jarrett Patterson, seemingly because what he can bring from a leadership perspective. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, as we talked about, is an organization that values long-term growth and players as a whole. And going into the 2026-27 season, Eric DeCosta seems as if this would be a move that he would make because it is not just a flashy headline. He does it based on football IQ and the versatility of players in the organization. Patterson checks every single box from a center perspective, and the trade compensation would not be significant to the point where the Baltimore Ravens are giving up a first, second, or even third round pick for Jarrett Patterson, as he is in danger of being sitting behind the tough offensive line room that is brewing in the Houston Texans. Sometimes the smartest moves in the NFL aren't the biggest ones, and this is exactly the move that flies under the radar but will pay off for Lamar Jackson's offensive protection and throughout the season going into the 2027 season as a whole. Now, as we talked about, the Baltimore Ravens are looking to have a very efficient season, and Jarrett Patterson could be the perfect player to fill in this center role going into this new year. Championship teams, as we know about, don't wait for problems to become emergencies for them to react and go out and get these players. Offensive line depth is key to winning football games, and as we know, injuries can happen over the course of a 17-game season. Patterson has won games in Notre Dame as well as a Houston Texan, and he has college football playoff experience in those big, tough game situations. He was a proven leader, as we know, going out of Notre Dame, and 2026-27 could be a beneficial year for him to grow as a dependable offensive lineman. As we talked about, the Baltimore Ravens do not need another born star. They need another dependable offensive lineman that can protection for Lamar Jackson in the pocket, as well as create opportunities in the run game for Derrick Henry and new pieces such as Adam Randall. All of the signs are pointing to Jarrett Patterson being the most logical trade target remaining this entire offseason, and I believe the Baltimore Ravens should pursue him due to the specific depth problem that is currently going on in the offensive line room. Now, going into this upcoming season, do you believe that Jarrett Patterson should be a trade target for the Baltimore Ravens. Type down below in the comments why, if you believe yes, Jarrett Patterson should be the newest addition for the Baltimore Ravens, and for no, if you do not believe that Jarrett Patterson would be a great addition to the Baltimore Ravens team. Let me know what you guys think regarding this trade and what you guys think would be a beneficial trade piece for the Baltimore Ravens to help fill that gap in the center room. Would you trade for him? Would you not trade for him? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, stay a part of the Ravens flock and the Ravens Digest family, and we will see you on the next video of Ravens Digest.